A Search for God Paraphrased, Book 1, Lesson 1, Cooperation. From 1 Peter 3rd chapter, to sum up, be one in thought and feeling, all of you. Be full of brotherly affection, kindly and humble-minded. Affirmation. Not my will, but thine, O Lord, be done in me and through me. Let me ever be a channel of blessings, today, now, to those that I contact in every way. Let my going in, my coming out be in accord with that thou would have me do. And as the call comes, here am I, send me, use me. Or, not my will but thine, O Lord, be done in me and through me. Let me always be a channel of blessings, starting today, starting now, to everyone I contact in every way. Let me enter meditation and let me leave meditation just the way you would have me. As you give me the opportunity, here I am. Send me, use me. Book 1, Lesson 1, Cooperation, based on EDGAR CAYCE readings 262-1 through 262-5. Introduction. Cooperation in the physical is defined as acting or operating together and in agreement with others. In the spiritual, it is more. It is losing sight of self and becoming a channel through which blessings may flow to others. The blessings are cooperation in action. Whether spiritually or physically, cooperation exists only through action. Thus, those who come together for a common cause must unite in action to pursue and achieve their common end. From reading 262-3, as they each seek in their way, through their development, to cooperate in serving others, so they are lifted up, as the Master's consciousness is raised in their individual activities. So the group's cooperation becomes the way cooperation was in the beginning, when it created those forces manifesting in this material world. The best in life is ours, not at the expense of others, but in harmonious cooperation. Every successful organization practices cooperation. The heavens declare the hand which formed them was the hand of unity, order, and harmony. All nature follows this same law. Each part of the human body is totally dependent upon all the other parts, yet does its duty without concern for its needed support from the other parts. From reading 262-4, no one should think that they must be dependent upon another person. Instead, depend on the Father, and as the Spirit moves you to speak, express yourself, for you are the Creator's child, and each has a part in what may be done. When self is totally dedicated to the ideal, lost in the ideal, cooperation is the natural result. Cooperation is the natural consequence of total trust, service, and self-sacrifice in Him. In whatever state we find society, let us meet it upon its own level. As we look up, we lift it. That is cooperation. Need for cooperation. From 262-1. Question. What would be the best subject for the first lesson? Answer. Cooperation. Let each seek for that as will be their part in this lesson, and it will be given each as they ask for same. We must put cooperation into action in our thinking. Our adverse thoughts have such a paralyzing effect that they not only retard our own development, but also build barriers for those who might seek to aid us. The Master could do no mighty works in His own village because of the people's unbelief in Him. Thoughts are deeds. Their application may be either crimes or miracles. To accomplish any aim, reach any goal, or attain any blessing, either for self or mankind, we must have one mind, one aim, and one purpose. As we seek in our way to cooperate, we are lifted up. Let us, then, express the creative force within us in a way that brings hope, peace, and understanding to others. We may thereby encourage them in their way to also seek being channels of blessings. Then let us attune ourselves to the highest spiritual force. This will come when we are in accord with His will. Let us exercise our conscious mind by holding these two thoughts before us. 1. We must lose ourselves in Him. 2. Our every thought and deed must be in harmony with the best intent and purpose within us. What is the mind of the Christ that we seek? When we open our minds, hearts, and souls to be channels of blessings, we have the Christ mind who took upon Himself the world's burden. So may we, in our little spheres, take upon ourselves our world's burdens. We may find joy, peace, and happiness by doing for the other fellow. We attune our minds with creative force by understanding the laws of right living. By acting on what we know, we have the mind of Christ. Method of obtaining cooperation. From 262-2, question 17, how may I best cooperate? Answer, give of thy best to Him. Now the questions arise, how may we accomplish this? And how may we as individuals work so our purposes accord with His will? To answer, we must look within to the little things making up our very nature. We must guard our daily thoughts and acts, and must, through meditation, awaken our inner selves. Again, from reading 262-2, universal love is necessary for unity of purpose, of desire, for groups or individuals, in order to have a oneness of purpose, or to help others find themselves by losing themselves in the love that is in their ideal. And from reading 262-5, help one another, work as a unit, wait for the Lord many times before speaking any word that would misrepresent you. Cooperation is offering self to be a channel of activity, of thought. Thus we each need to evaluate our acts and thoughts in our daily lives. We do not attain cooperation at once. It comes line by line, precept upon precept, through giving of self. We must realize that to have life, we must give life. To have love, we must show ourselves lovable. To have friends, we must be friends. All these are manifestations of cooperation and are one in Him. To have cooperation, we must cooperate by giving ourselves to that to be accomplished, whether in bringing light, strength, health, or understanding to others. Replace negative thoughts with positive ones, thinking unkindly of no one. Rather, speak and think kindly of all. Practice thinking kind thoughts about those who have hurt us. Take every opportunity to do a kindness, lightening another's burden. Live as we know He would have us live. Begin now. Work. Work diligently and consistently. Let us think continually of our mental attitude. Our attitude either brings peace, harmony, and understanding, or brings unrest and trouble. We will find that although we want to do right, the spirit of unrest, that is, hostility, mistrust, irritability, etc., is always present. Day by day, we should replace the unrest in our minds with thoughts of understanding, peace, and harmony. Not a latent kind, but an active force. In this way, we express the cooperation we seek. From 262-3, as each has built in his experience and seeks to be a channel of blessings through that which they built for themselves, thus does the blessing come to others. We must all seek to be true to God's laws and precepts with one mind and one purpose. These are not for the advantage of self alone, but for all, not merely for self-edification, but for power and strength to emanate from us to those who need us. Seek harmony, for harmony brings peace. Peace brings understanding, and understanding brings enlightenment. Without God we can do nothing, so let us in meditation seek knowledge from the inner light. Set aside a daily time to pray and meditate. Then quiet the physical body, purify the emotions, and wait on the Lord. When we draw near to God, He draws near to us. As we enter meditation, visualize love and harmony in action. As we practice cooperation in deed and thought, His peace, which passes understanding, comes to us, as does the realization that we are His channel. He will not withhold light, life, joy, strength, and power from those seeking oneness in His name. From 262-4, for meditation, we would set a specific time for all, that is, members of the study group, to meditate. For any who won't cooperate have little part in that which may be accomplished. Whether these meditations are short or long, their activity, their accord keeps harmony. In this, then, let's all be active. Realization of cooperation. When we realize a perfect cooperation in Him, we will also know our oneness with creative force. Selfishness will be eliminated. We will find joy and happiness in service. They will reign in our hearts. Our bodies and minds will function better because creative force, ever seeking expression in all, is aroused in us. Understanding will come as quietly as the night's silent shadows, and His everlasting peace will live in our hearts. The following quotations describe the results of seeking light and understanding through cooperation. First person. In experiencing cooperation, I have been led into a greater field of spiritual understanding and realize that I am a channel through which His will may be done. Second person. I experienced in my trials a feeling of cooperation from our study group, in that through their prayers and meditations, I realized that nothing but good could come to me. All fear was allayed. I knew that justice and mercy would prevail. There came to me a feeling of contentment, a willingness to leave all in His hands, and a realization that all was well. Third person. With the cooperation of our study group, I have been better able to understand my own individual purpose in relation to the whole purpose of life. At times when our cooperation was greatest, I have been able to feel myself a perfect channel through which God manifested. During the nights following such attunements, I have had visions and dreams that were testimonies to me of growth and development. Fourth person. I have realized that faithful repetition of efforts which make for cooperation brings at times a feeling of unity with all with whom I work and a nearness of His presence, which shows that His promise, where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them, is sure. Fifth person. In my meditation, I have seen our study group come together and form a complete circle, each member of the group being represented by a dot. Each one in the circle seemed to call the others by name and bless them. The circle now turned to a wheel, the dots becoming spokes. Each spoke represented a member of the group. Each spoke became a channel, leading outward from the hub, where was seen the Christ light. As the blessings of love, harmony, peace, and understanding flowed from the Christ through the channels, the wheel was able to turn. This was cooperation in action. As the wheel revolved, members of the group or channels were able to turn other wheels, which were helping to bring the world to light, love, harmony, and true understanding." Unquote. Therefore, unity of purpose and oneness of mind are the goals for each of us in our varied experiences. All we do and teach is to manifest His will, rather than either our will or personality. Let us be patient and untiring in seeking cooperation, for we are preparing to go further in the study and understanding of spiritual forces. We will become active channels for these forces. We will be better husbands, wives, neighbors, and friends. Our world will be happier for our being part of it. We will bring more joy and happiness to those about us. We will manifest God's love for man. From 262-5, Answer 5. He, the Prince of Peace, brings cheer, gladness to the hearts and souls of those who seek to be a channel of blessing through Him. The way opens for all who will be part of mankind's redemption. Our hearts must sing, not sorrowfully, but in gladness of purpose, for we should be the happiest of His chosen. May our united efforts awaken in those yet unborn that which makes men's souls safe, the knowledge of Him who made all things. For without him was not anything made that was made, as we read in John 1, verse 3. Not my will, but thine, O Lord, be done in me and through me. Let me ever be a channel of blessings, today, now, to those that I contact in every way. Let my going in, my coming out, be in accord with that thou would have me do. And as the call comes, here I am, send me, use me. End of the Search for God Paraphrased, Book 1, Lesson 1, Cooperation. Reading is by the author, L. Nelson Farley. Recording engineer is Mike Crowell. Recorded at EDGAR in Hampton, Virginia.